I want to do an updated first impressions video on the brushes that I picked up in Japan. I have used most of them, and yeah, I just want to go over this. So let's start off with the Rmk cheek brush. It is definitely softer than the Lunasol one, so smaller. It's a little bit softer than the Lunasol one. I do like it. I think it's definitely good for the price. It's like 4,000 yen, and the Lunasol one is 5,000 yen. If I were to go back, I wouldn't go and purchase the Lunasol one. I would just keep the Rmk one. It's a really good bang for your buck. Like if you are first getting into Japanese makeup brushes and you don't know what kind of brush to choose for your dry and sensitive skin for blush, I would recommend the Rmk one or the Chikuhodo RC2. Those are two great beginner grayscale blush brushes. And the Chikuhodo one is a little cheaper than the Rmk one. I think it's like 3,800 yen. It's also a dome shape, so it's not like a flattened oval like the Rmk one. It's a pom-pom shape. Yeah, so I do like it. I'm not in love with it, but I like it. And yeah, the Lunasol, we already know my thoughts on this. So for Takeda, the YWC17 is quite a nice brush. I used it for blush and I was pretty impressed, except for some reason the hairs were not as slick straight as my YWC14. Yeah, you can see like hair to just like frayed out and not very, very straight. The one on my YWC14 is very, very straight and very, very soft. They're probably around the same softness. It's just like the YWC14 on the right here is just more perfect to me for some reason. And then, yeah, so this one, the YWC17 didn't shed very much, which is good. And the WC20, which is supposed to be a blush brush, I actually use it for powder, and I really like it for powder. The only thing is that it literally shed like 30 hairs. So it shed like 10 hairs when I first got it and washed it, and then it shed another like 20 when I used it with powder for the first time. So that's extremely disappointing. I know that, you know, it's really based off of luck, how they bundled the hair, because my friend who also got the same brush, her WC20 didn't shed that much. It probably shed like 1 or 2 hairs, and her YWS17, which is the angled version of this brush, her brush shed more than mine. So yeah, it's really luck and how they bundle the hair. So I would say I'm definitely disappointed in how much it shed, but yeah, I don't know. Like I do like it. It's just the shedding was definitely a large problem. And for the Chikuhodo Passion series, I used these 3 brushes. So I used the eyeshadow brush. It's nice. It's pretty large, as you can see here, and I think it's good at just laying base eyeshadow or just like one large amount of eyeshadow onto your lid. And I'm happy to say that it is good enough for sensitive skin. Excuse me. I have, like I mentioned before, I have very sensitive skin, and now that it's winter, it's even more sensitive on my eyelids and the top of my cheekbones. So this is not scratchy, doesn't hurt my eyes, and yeah, I approve of this one, which is, I think it's not labeled, but it's PS, maybe it's like 5 or something, but it's the eyeshadow one. And then the highlight brush. Someone actually recommended this brush to me around last year or something, I forgot, a while back, saying that it's a really good highlight brush. As you can see, the shape is flat, just like the eyeshadow brush, and it's tapered, but it's actually, it's a little scratchy for my cheekbones. Like, I know that there aren't that many people with as sensitive skin as I have, so, or as I have, but if you, I think it would work for the majority of people, this highlight brush. I just I just have like really sensitive skin right now. I don't have dry. Here's the difference. I don't have dry skin, so yeah, my skin will not flake if I use brushes or anything like that. I just have really sensitive areas of my face. And then the powder brush is like, I love this brush. It is very soft. It's so soft for Diet Sokoho. Like, yeah, definitely if you are a beginner, if you're just getting into Japanese makeup brushes and you don't have the budget to spend, you know, like, I don't know, I think this one is like $50 or $60. If you don't have like $100 or something to spend on a powder brush, I definitely recommend this. The handles are gorgeous too, like bright magenta or pink, I don't know. This is very soft enough for sensitive skin, and so it'll be extremely soft with those of you for normal skin. And I love that it's just like a round pom-pom shape, so you can just dip it into the powder and then just put it all over your face. I would rate this like a 7.5 out of 10 in terms of softness. So I highly recommend this one. And the Takeda blush brush, I finally figured out which blush brush I have. It's the limited edition one, which is 16 SOV from the EXS line. So you can see that's EXS here. This is the oval blush brush. The hairs are so incredibly soft. They are the hairs are like, they're labeled as like high quality Seikoho, but it's in between like Saibikoho, which is the highest grade of Go, and Saikoho, which is the second highest grade of Go. So it feels like it's in between those two. It's so soft, it's like scroll soft, and the hairs are so fine. So I love this brush to bits. This one was like 6,000 yen, I think. Yeah, I like it, but yeah, the handle, I'm not a fan of this pearl pink. I think it just looks really cheap to me, but you can also you can always custom order with Takeda. You can customize your head, your ferrule, and your handle. So if I ever get to customizing in the future, I'm gonna want to ask for a black glossy handle with a black glossy ferrule. Like black on black, I think is really sexy. And they currently have a Christmas set right now. The cheek brush in that one reminds me of the Hakuhodo J5543. It's a very dense cheek brush. It looks nice, but yeah, it's like the Christmas set is like $150, and it only comes with that brush and like 4 or 5 like weasel brushes. I'm not interested in weasel, so I think I do want to custom order with them someday. And then we have the Hakuhodo J5522. This thing it's very so I've seen like other people's photos of their J5522, and mine seems just like extremely tapered. Like I've used it like 3 or 4 times already, and it's still, the shape still remains this tapered, so I'm incredibly impressed with it. I still haven't really found a good way to use it yet because my eyes aren't that big, so it's not like a crease brush for me. I think I've just been using it for all over color, but I do prefer something like the Wingos 16 for all over color, as well as the Chikuhodo Takumi T6. So I like those two more for just applying all over eyeshadow color. But I do really like this brush. It's very soft. Then we have the J5523, which is what Hakuhodo is best known for. This is the MAC 217 equivalent. And I'll have to say, yes, I'm very impressed with this brush. To this day, I have not come across a brush this soft in this shape besides the scroll versions of this brush. So it's like the Hakuhodo G5523 or the Wingos 6 brush are the same shape, but definitely softer. And yeah, so this is a very, very soft Seikoho blending brush that's like flat and tapered. And I don't use these ones for blending, actually. I just use it for like crease work. But I'm impressed. And then we have the, no, this is not the one I wanted to review. I have the J5533. So I would assume that this is close to the Sigma E35 or E40, maybe the E35. It looks like really gross right now because I used it, but the first time I washed it and it dried, it looked really nice, and then I washed it a second time and it doesn't look as nice as before. But I don't know, I'm not really that impressed with this brush because every time I'm like swiping back and forth, it's just like, it's not that dense, and the hairs feel kind of prickly on my eyelids. Even though I'm pretty sure it's like they use the same type of hairs as the other two that I just spoke about. It's probably because it's like less dense, but yeah, this brush is just okay to me. And then the Rmk Pencil Brush, it's called the Rmk like Eyeshadow Brush E. This is really nice. It's, even though it has gray squirrel and raccoon, Japanese tanuki, it is not prickly whatsoever. Like sometimes I can feel one or two prickly hairs in a brush on my eyelids, but for the most part, I couldn't feel it. Oh, I just felt one right now. Never mind. But if you press down really hard, I think you can feel one of the tanuki hairs. But if you're just like more light-handed on the outer V or something with it, you won't really feel it. So I do really like this brush as well. So I recommend this one and the Hakuhodo G5537. Okay, so this is the smaller version of the G5538, which is the equivalent. Okay, so the G5538 is the equivalent to the Wayne Goss 14, and I didn't like the Wayne Goss 14, but I decided to give the smaller version a try, and I love this brush. I used the Takeda YWC 14 with highlighter on one side of my face and the Hakuhodo G5537 on the other side of my face, and I liked the finish of the Hakuhodo version more. It was able to pick up just more product, and it applied everything like more pigmentedly. So I do like highlight that's very like bam in your face. If you like more subtle highlight, then the Takeda one would be better for you. But I do love the Hakuhodo version. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.